Hello, it's Sam from Weekly Abductions. We talk a lot on movies in this channel, so we figured we'll bring you our top 20 favorite films. I will mention this. I wrote down like 20 of them. I'm not actually entirely sure if I would have these as a rating as they are. This kind of list was more based off of how many times I've repeated the movie and like rewatched it a bunch of times. That's kind of how I came up with this list. Let's start with number 20. Number 20, I put Jurassic Park. I enjoy Jurassic Park. I've made a couple of memes about it, of the Parasaurolophus that's down at the bottom of the first scene when you see the dinosaurs. It's definitely on my top 20 list, and it's such a good movie. So now, next one would be number 19. So number 19, I put as Silent Hill. So I recently watched this movie for the first time, but the video gamer inside of me really enjoyed the movie and how they actually did it pretty well compared to the game. I will admit that I didn't play Silent Hill, but I watched a bunch of friends play Silent Hill and played a little bit through their kind of saves, but I didn't fully play the game, so I'm not going to say that I actually played it. But all in all, I thought they did a really good job of making a movie based off of a video game, which is kind of hard to do because they've tried a couple of times and some of them have done well, others have completely failed. So it was actually really good, and I definitely enjoyed that movie. So we'll go to number 18. Number 18, I put Resident Evil, the first one, because I really wanted to put all the Resident Evils on here, but there were some others that I wanted to be on here. I wanted to put all of them because I really enjoyed that whole kind of trilogy that they made. It was I thought it was done really well. I really enjoyed all of those. I played a couple of them. There was some that I didn't get the chance to play because I didn't have the system. And some that I watched my buddy play through many, many times, which I basically know where a lot of things are, but I would obviously probably die when I tried actually doing it myself, because it's one thing watching somebody do it, another thing to play it. I do plan on playing those games, just doing the remastered versions, just because those were always some that I wanted to play, but never got the chance to play. Along with Silent Hill, if I'm able to get even maybe the older version on some of the newer consoles and be able to play those, that would be pretty fun. But yeah, back to Resident Evil. I definitely thought that was a good one. And now we go to number 17. Number 17, I chose 30 Days of Night. 30 Days of Night was a really good vampire movie that showed them in their true brutality. I thought it was a really good one. The second one was alright, but the first one was just really, really good. There was lots of good scenes in it, lots of things where you're just what is happening? And then once you know, you're just holy cow, this is pretty intense. And the ending is definitely really brutal as well. Now we're going to go to number 16. Number 16 is going to take a little bit of a different approach, more of a comedy one, but I chose Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls because that movie is great. It's really funny, and Jim Carrey is really good. He's really good at being that comical. So then we go to number 15, which is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which is the first of that series, and that one, along with When Nature Calls, I watched way too many times, to the point where both of those DVDs broke and I had to buy new ones. Those ones I watched a lot because they were just really funny. And that was back on the first Xbox where you could set loops. I think you possibly can in the new ones. I just haven't messed around with it to know it. You could set loops at the beginning and the end of the movie, and then it would just continuously play. And so yeah, I watched those a lot, and I'm pretty sure I slept to those movies too. There's many movies that I fell asleep to, and it would just continuously play. Now we'll go to number 14. So number 14 is Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed. When I was growing up, I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo, a lot of Scooby-Doo. So when they did the live action ones, I was not, I heard people talking a lot of crap about them. I thought they were actually pretty decent. I think I've mentioned this, no wait, I haven't mentioned this before on the channel. I know Keegan and I were talking about it while we were going to the last New Mexico trip, because we were listening to Caravan at Garbage podcast that was talking about those plus a bunch of other movies as well, because we had essentially a 10-hour drive. I told Keegan that I thought both of them were really good. The first one was slightly cheesy in a way, but it still was really well done. The second one I thought was really good too, because it would be pretty intense to have a bunch of costumed people, or all the costumes come into life through some weird machine / magic. It would be pretty intense. The cotton candy monster would be a fun one to come up against, because you would just eat it. Now we'll go to number 13. So number 13 might not be a surprise, and it's the first Scooby-Doo live action movie. Again, like I said in the last one, I thought it was really good. I've always enjoyed Scooby-Doo, and I like how they kept that whole portrayal of Scooby and Shaggy being stoners when you see smoke pluming out of the top of the mystery van, and it's just them playing it off like they're just grilling, and it's just alright, but that was a lot of smoke, continuous smoke, for them to just be grilling. So we'll move to number 12. 12 and 11 are going to be kind of the same kind of couple of movies. I mean, it's not going to be a full series like some of the other ones I did, but number 12 is the Underworld Evolution. I really enjoyed all of the Underworld series. I enjoyed the first two the most, because those ones I thought were really good. It was another good kind of interesting concept between vampires and lycans. We'll go on to number 11. So number 11 is Underworld. I definitely enjoyed it. It was a very, really good opener to the series, because it brings you into this these crazy essentially vampire covens, and then them fighting lycans that are being more open in the public. They brought them down to where they supposedly killed them off essentially, but then they are starting to reproduce and have a bunch more when they try to cut them out. That whole thing started when Marcus's brother, who Marcus is the vampire lord essentially, the true lord is Alexander Corvus, was the one that was the separation of the two bloodlines, which was the vampires and the lycans, which then it became his one of his sons, Marcus, and the other one, his brother William, which William was the white werewolf, the one that started it, and everyone he bit couldn't turn back to human. They were just stuck as a werewolf, which sometimes happens within being bit by them. So they ended up getting that DNA, and kind of one of them got it to where he could return human, and then they started to spread that, which I think in the third movie in the series, it kind of explains that whole thing, the whole part of it. But it was definitely a really good movie. So we'll move on to number 10. So number 10 is the Boondock Saints. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really funny, especially the part where the one detective arrives at one of the crime scenes and then just yells it was a firefight, and then takes out his guns in the middle of the day and just starts firing them into the air. It was really good, because he thought it happened in this crazy epic way, but it was in reality all done by these just very luck. Some very luck by the two brothers, and I thought that one and the second one were both really good movies, and I definitely enjoyed them. But we'll move on to number 9. Number 9 is Lucy. I thought it was an amazing movie. I was tempted to put this one higher on the list. I just kind of already started the list, and I know I've watched some of the other ones coming up a lot more, and I've watched some that I put down below a lot more too. I had to put Lucy on this list because it's a very good a deep thought movie where talks about lots of interesting concepts and lots of crazy things that is pretty intense and really cool. So I really wanted to add this one to the movie just because this was one of the movies that like it made me think a lot, and just like I thought it was really good. So number eight, I did The Return of the King. Essentially, 8, 7, and 6 are the first three movies. Well, the first three movies that came out, but like 4, 5, 6 technically, if you look at like The Hobbit, or actually it would be 2, 3, 4, because The Hobbit was 3 movies, but it's technically 1. I mean, it should technically be 1 because The Hobbit was just like a book, and then it was The Fellowship, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. So out of a 4-part series that they made a 6-part series, which were all really good. Like, I didn't put The Hobbit on this one. Like, I will have some honorary mentions at the end of this just because there's a lot that I wanted on here, but the way I did this, it was, you know, how it is. But Return of the King, I thought it was a really good one. It was really epic. Number 7 is The Two Towers. The Two Towers had some amazing parts in it, lots of action, and was a really good movie. Number 6 was The Fellowship of the Ring. I know I kind of skimmed over The Two Towers, but all 3 of these are Lord of the Rings. They were all really good. I do have to say that I think I liked the collector editions better than the originals. Like, the original ones were really good, but the collector's editions were longer, but it brought you more into it, which is, I think, what kind of started most movies to being more than just like an hour and a half or 90 minutes, or with ones like that, it shows you a lot more in there, and like a lot of the deleted scenes were pretty intense to actually be in the movie because it made a lot more sense than like how they cut it essentially. And like it just is, I thought they were really good. Those movies are 10 out of 10 for me. Okay, so 5, 4, and 3 are going to be another kind of series. Now that I'm looking at this and thinking about this, I could have made this a little different and like added in about a couple of movies with like sneakily adding it in. But I know we like to make lists where like you put the actual movies like back to back, like we did with the dinosaurs. Number 5 is Riddick. And then I'll just kind of do all of them in this one just to make it easier for this. But number 4 is The Chronicles of Riddick. And then number 3 is Pitch Black. So the Riddick series I thought were really, really cool. I put them higher on the list because it's like that. I enjoyed them a lot because of like that space travel and like different planets and like civilizations on different planets, and I'm realizing I missed one in this. So yeah, the Riddick movies were really good. Pitch Black was a really intense one because it kind of like started that whole thing, and like those creatures were kind of the same as what they were in the Riddick movie, which was the more recent one. They were like really close to those ones where like opposed from pitch blackness, it was like a rainstorm that would bring them out from like the scorching heat of the planet. Still a really cool creature and concept for a creature because it's like a really intense, really, really intense creature. And I liked how from Pitch Black to the newer one, Riddick, and Chronicles in between, I'll like mention that one here in a little bit. But in Pitch Black, he was like so attuned to like understanding like a lot of things, and then in the Riddick movie, he went back to that like primal instinct essentially, or that survival instinct. But the Chronicles of Riddick was like another really good one to where like it was just like an intense kind of like thing where like these guys, or the necromancers, which were like kind of these beings that like took over planets and then turned a bunch of people into their like kind of warriors, and then would either destroy the planets or, I mean, for a majority they were destroying the planets, and like their guy was like this really intense dude that can like literally take someone's like soul out of their body, and then just like what I assumed he did was like consume them or just let it go to where like it wouldn't return to their body. It would just like go wherever our souls go after we pass away. But I thought those three were really, really good movies. I definitely really enjoyed them a lot. Alright, so now we're getting close to the end. So number 2, I chose Grandma's Boy. I don't know, I'm a big video gamer. I like video games, and I'm not per se a tester, but like I do definitely go through a game and essentially try to break it. So I go like jump off every spot, look into every like kind of crevice that you can, try to find a bunch of stuff, like go through it like thoroughly and enjoy the crap out of it. So I put Grandma's Boy there because it's pretty hilarious. Like it has like partying, it has doing a bunch of pot, making pot tea, and the grannies not knowing, and then just laughing hysterically and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Like I thought it was a really great movie. Definitely watched it a lot. Yeah, it's a good one. So number one, I put Dazed and Confused. I kind of had to, just because, I mean, I watched Dazed and Confused a lot. When I was younger, I used to smoke to that movie and Grandma's Boy a lot as well. Yeah, no, they were really good movies. Dazed and Confused they had like a lot of like deep, high quotes in it, where like people were like thinking of like out of the box things, which you do when you're like smoking weed a lot or hitting the ganja. But like it's a funny movie. It's all about like basically partying. It's like a party movie plus like a smoking movie, and it's like pretty intense and really cool. So we've come to the top of the list / end of the list, but I did want to throw out some honorary mentions in there that I wanted to put on the list but couldn't. One being Star Wars, of course, because of the whole otherworldly alien ones. Others would be like the Alien series. I definitely wanted to put Without a Paddle on here because I watched that one a lot. I'm kind of sad that I put like multiple genres opposed from talking about them and put Without a Paddle on here, because that movie was the best, and I know what to do if me and my friends come across a bear. Another one that I wish was in here would be The Other Guys, because that one is just, me and Keegan quote that one to each other a lot, and so I'm kind of upset I didn't put it in there, so hopefully he does in his. The other one I want to mention is Pineapple Express, because that's another really good one that I really enjoyed. But Star Trek would be another mention, because like I grew up watching those, and like those were like a really good like space one, and like that whole concept, and kind of pushed me, not really pushed me, but like got me into like what I am, what I do, and what I'm talking about. Blade is another series that I wanted to talk about, and then also Dawn of the Dead, because Dawn of the Dead was one was kind of that inspired Dead Rising, which Dead Rising is basically like a zombie game that's based off of a mall, and a lot of the characters in that game are referenced, or a lot of the characters in the movie Dawn of the Dead are referenced in the game Dead Rising. It was a really fun game. So I'm sad I didn't put that one in there. And then also I have to mention Shaun of the Dead, because Shaun of the Dead's really great. I have a bigger list, so I'll probably cut it out there, but there's a lot of more honorary mentions that I want to do, but to not make another 20 list, I will cut it there. Well, thanks for watching my top 20 plus list of movies. If you want to see more of our top 10 list, check out the link right up over here. If you want to see more of the top 20 movie lists that we have, check that link right over here. And if you want to see more from Cool's Paranormal, check the link right over here. And don't forget to give us a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content that we are providing for you. And switch that notification bell from personalized to all if you want to be updated on all of our upcoming videos, because we have some good ones coming to you.